Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a neighborhood walkthrough in the south of Coral Gables, which is a very shaded area, and the main property is the single family home. So Miami is increasingly becoming a very hot real estate market because of the migration pattern, and also it is one of the Sunbelt states. So as you can see, the lawn, the trees, and houses, it's just a very lovely neighborhood. For me, I always love houses with big trees. I remember that my grandfather has a 3-story house and he has like 6 kids. Can you imagine? So back then people are allowed to have like big families because of the whole birth policy thing. So in my generation, my parents are only allowed to have one child, and so are a lot of my friends. They're basically the same. So we can hang out with other kids who are also the only child in the family. I mean, for family reunions, holidays, and stuff like that, it's a lot of fun. I still think that it's still a little bit different from if you have siblings to play with. So I'm glad today it's not like super hot and muggy. So it's a good time to do an outdoor video like this. So the house that my grandfather has, like on the 2nd and the 3rd floor, there are like huge and long balconies that's looking into the horizon. It's absolutely beautiful. And I remember my dad saying that, in the summer when it gets cooler at night, he would just put out like the bamboo blanket and put it on the lawn. So he and his siblings would just lie there and then just watch the stars. And when it gets too late, they would just fall asleep. And my cousins and I actually get to experience that too. And it's actually one of my best childhood memories. So I think there's a natural attachment to like a standalone house. So in real estate, we call it a single family home, because I think that its economic and social value is a little bit different from the other properties, like maybe a townhouse or an apartment. Probably because it has the largest space for asset appreciation, and also the environment is also different. I talked in the past before that single family home, its first and primary purpose should be served for people to live in it instead of turning into a financial product. Unfortunately, that's not happening right now, because with a lot of like corporate buyers and cash investors, unfortunately, that's something that's changing. And prices are just basically going through the roof. And with the macro situation, such as the things that I talked about in my past video, such as labor shortage, material shortage, supply chain disruption, they're actually, just creating like a total supply shortage that's unfortunately driving up the housing price, which is becoming more and more unaffordable. And these complications, they are actually the driving momentum of the housing market. So the macroeconomic conditions, such as the extension and raise of the debt ceiling, the Fed not tapering anytime soon, and the continuous supply chain disruption, they are the major macro factors that are driving the housing market. So they're kind of like the crutches. And that said, if one of these crutches is taken away, we will immediately see like an impact or a crash in the housing market. So I definitely think that there is a short-term opportunity to buy at the low and sell at the high. So just to show you what it looks like in the neighborhood. And a coral color is very typical of Miami. So many of you might ask, are we heading to the stagflation situation like we saw in the 1970s? Yes, we are. So the debt ceiling is definitely going to be raised and extended. And the Fed is not, it's talking about taper, but it's not acting. And there's no way that the supply chain disruption is going back to normal in the short run, because you need to have like technological innovation and, you know, some type of policies to solve the labor shortage problem and also the materials. So those three factors, they're going to stay as long as they are, and it's just a fact. So in this area that I'm walking in, like the prices is 1 million up, and the average price is probably 3 million. And like in our current housing market, sellers are not even looking at the comparables. They just basically just max out the perimeter, the pricing perimeter, to the amount of however the bank is willing to loan to the buyer. And that's just a fact. And that's how sellers flip their house. So you can kind of see why the housing market is pumped by the Fed's action of buying mortgage-backed securities every month. As long as it's not stopping, the locomotive that's driving the housing market, it's not going to stop. It's going up. And in the third quarter, the home price is actually dropping or dipping, to be more accurate, because buyers know that houses are overpriced, so they kind of want to wait to see what's happening next. So here's my opinion. If you're holding property or have the cash that you can refinance from your current properties and looking to buy, you know, either as a home buyer that you're living in by yourself or as an investor, this is a short-term opportunity for you to quickly build equity in a very short period of time. I know that, you know, the Fed policy, I talked about it before. I mean, personally, I don't like it, but this is the opportunity to actually take full advantage of the stupidity that the Fed is having right now and just, you know, get over with it. Look how beautiful the house is with the trees. Coral Gables is a very shaded area, and sometimes I also, you know, walk around because I really like the trees. So in my honest opinion, I think macroeconomic policies actually have a much larger influence on local real estate markets than local factors. When you look at factors such as migrants, you know, people from the north, they sometimes they go down to the south in areas like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, that kind of areas. They come here during the winter, but they return during the summer. So how is that migration pattern consistent? I don't think that's a consistent population exodus from the north. So another factor that you may consider is hurricanes, right? You have to think about whether you have the time and energy just to fix things when the hurricane hits. And by the way, so far in this fall, I have not seen one major hurricane directly hitting Florida. Can you believe it? It's going straight to the center of the Gulf Coast, and it's even going to New York, where it's having like a major flooding issue, and it's even going to Canada. It's just very confusing. So when you look at those local factors, of course they're going to have an impact on the housing market, but the prices are still going up here. And so that's what I'm talking about earlier. I think the macroeconomic factors are having a much bigger influence on the local markets. Just to let you take a look at the neighborhood with all the trees. So this is pretty much today's video, and I hope you enjoy the trees, the houses, the lawns, and everything else that comes with Miami, Coral Gables, and South Florida. And I will do more outdoors walking around the neighborhood videos just to show you the local situation. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next weekend.